Hi everyone, this is Tom from Little Bighorn Games, just to give you a quick review of the latest game, which is going to be launched on Kickstarter in March, and that game will be a relaunch of Western Front. This was my very first game that I did back in 2016. You can just see the original artwork here, and now I've just decided to upgrade it so it just matches all the others in the in sort of the current range. So let me just take you through the new game, just the few tweaks that have happened. Let's see what's new. So the game's still got a 3 walls cards. It's very simple to play and set up. This is the first one, the big one. It's this one here. So you've got 1, 2. Again, all these will be on the Kickstarter. You've got page 3 and page 4, and then final one, page 5 and page 6. But again, so this will be on the Kickstarter. The game plays exactly the same as the previous version. The only difference being there's a couple of new events, a few more tactics, the auto win card's been removed. So how do you play the game, just for those people that are new to the game? So basically the game's played over the 5 years of the First World War. These are the new year cards. So you've got 1914, and I put in some information about that year. So the main battle there was Battle of the Marne. Got 1915, Battle of Ypres. 1916 you have Battle of Verdun and the Battle of the Somme. Then in 1917 we have the Battle of Passchendaele and the Battle of Cambrai. And then finally the main event in 1918 was of course the armistice. So the players are trying to win 3 of these year cards. Whoever wins 3 wins the game. So how do you win a year card? So each player has 7 battle cards, and you basically use 1 battle card per battle. So you have 7 in total, and whoever wins the most battles wins the year. If it's a draw, no one wins the battle, and if it's a draw in the year, no one wins the year card. You must win it. So let's look at the battle cards. So these are ones, there's 7 each, they're both the same for the Allies and the Germans. So this is the Allies, so your most powerful card is over the top, which has an attack strength of 8. Next you have machine gun post, defense 7. You have tanks, attack 6. Barrage, attack 5. Dogfight, attack 4. And then bring up the reserves, defense 2, and then the final one, your weakest card is stalemate, neutral 1. That's for the Allies. So for the Germans, exactly the same, but just slightly different artwork. So you've got over the top, machine gun post, defense 7, gas attack, attack 8, attack 6, sorry, barrage, attack 5, dogfight, attack 4, bring up reserves, defense 2, and then stalemate, neutral 1. So the aim of the game is trying to work out what sequence your opponent is going to place their cards in. You only have 7 each, so it's also a memory game, and just trying to get inside their minds. Tactic they'll use 1 year you'll know about, so they won't be able to use it the following year. And the more you play with your opponent, the more you'll get inside their mind. And the idea is you basically both place 1 card down. Once you're happy with your cards, you then reveal them, and the highest score wins. So in this case, the German would win because he's got 2 to the Allies 1. And so there's also a few things that can influence your score as well, and these are tactics and the events. So I'm just going to show you the tactics. There's basically 9 in total. Now the previous game only had 5, so I'm just going to go through them with you. So this is for the Allies. So we have tunnelling. So if you use an attack card, +1. If your opponent uses a defence card, +2 instead. So again, defence card. If you use an attack card, +1. So that would be that one. So that would make that a 6. And then, but if your opponent had used a defence card, so for the defence at the bottom, it would be +2, it would be a 4 instead. Next, both players have a bluff card. So this is the only tactic card that gets returned to the player's hand after battle. All the others are just single use. It can be used as many times as needed during the war. So bluff is a big part of warfare, so that's reflected with this card. Next one, you have Sniper. So randomly pick one of your opponent's tactic cards and remove from this year's battles without viewing it. So again, this will be played before battle is played. So you basically say, I want to play this tactic. You reveal it. You then remove one of your opponent's tactic cards, and again use it strategically. So if your opponent only has one tactic card left, you can then place that. So again, it moves that tactic out of the game. So it's just an extra something to think about. Alternatively, if you didn't want to do that, you can actually +2 to any defense battle card that's at the bottom. I just need to get the card adjusted slightly because it's just a prototype copy of the game. Next one, we've got Creeping Barrage. This is the same as the previous version. So if you're using the Barrage battle card, +3 to its value. So let me just show you that card. So this is the Barrage one. So that would make that an 8 rather than a 5. Next, you've got Hand-to-Hand Fighting. This is a new one. So if a battle is drawn, you win instead. If your opponent also uses this tactic, they cancel each other out. So again, you've both got the same 7 cards. It's a memory game, and if you think your opponent might place one card down, which will be the same to yours, you then put this down, and if it's a draw, you win. Next card is a new version, new tactic. It's Shell Shock. So your opponent can't use a tactic card this battle. If both players have this tactic, it's whoever declares first at the start of the battle. Okay. Next one, we've got Trench Raid. So pick 2 of your opponent's tactic cards randomly. If you view them and give them back to your opponent, or if you're using a attack card, +1. So again, you could place this, you declare this at the start before the battle was sort of played. You then view your opponent's tactic cards, work out what they got left, and then you use your strategy once you know that. Next one is a Flamethrower. So if you use a defense card +1, if your opponent uses an attack card +2 instead. And then finally, we have Aerial Reconnaissance. So if your opponent's battle card, view your opponent's battle card and change yours, this battle only. If your opponent uses Aerial Reconnaissance as well, they cancel each other out as well. So again, you've got to be wary. Your opponent might have this. It's a very good card. So how this would work is, let's say the Allies put this down, and the Germans, let's see what they've got. The Germans put down this card, and you put that tactic card down. You then reveal the tactic card first, so you can view their card. So they've used a 7. What have you used? You used a 5, so you're going to lose that battle. So what you could do is remove that and replace it with your weakest card. So just say that was your weakest card. You replace it with that. So again, you could keep this more powerful card for another battle. So there's 2 ways you can play the tactics. You can basically pick your own. So you've got this 9 there, so you can just pick the 5 that you want to personally use, or you can agree that both sides have the same tactics. Completely up to you. And the German ones are very similar. There's just slight different art. So this is the Firewalls, which is the Creeping Barrage for the Allies. Hand-to-Hand has got a different image. And Shell Shock's the same, and Trench Raid just got the German stick grenade. Other than that, they're all the same. And finally, we have events. So again, these will affect your total score. You add them to the battle cards and the tactic cards. I'll just quickly go through them. So this is Mud, so all attack cards -1. So that would be a 5 rather than 6. Next one, we've got the Hindenburg line. So all German defence cards +2. Let's go. So that would make that a 4 rather than a 2. Victoria Cross, you've got the Allies version of it. So all Allies defence card +2 instead. You've got Fragile Alliances. So this one is both players lose 1 battle card. Your opponent picks the card at random and removes it from play. This year, without showing it, if this is the last battle to be played in the year, the battle is a draw. Next we have No Man's Land. If a battle is drawn, it must be replayed. Battle cards used in the original battle can be selected again, but not any tactic cards. This card overrules any relevant tactic cards. This continues until someone wins the battle. Next we have Blockade. So bring up the reserves card is -1. So I'll just quickly show you that card. So that's to bring up the reserves. So that'll be a 1 rather than a 2. Coordinated attack, so this is 2 battle cards must be played in the next battle. If 2 cards aren't available, ignore this event. Tactic cards are applied to only 1 battle card of your choice if available. This is one of the new events, so this is Deserter, so tactic cards cannot be used next battle only. Next we have another new event, Barbed Wire. All defence cards +1, so again, that would make that a 3 rather than a 2. Then the final 3 events, this is Christmas Truce, so over the top cards have a value of just 1. From sort of customer feedback, I've added in historical fact, because when people were playing, that's what the kids would say, well actually that event didn't happen in that year, so I've added the historical fact. So again, this would basically mean, so over the top this is 8, that should reduce down to just 1. Okay. Next we got we actually got these 2 final cards. So they're basically, one affects the Allies, one affects the Germans. So Russia makes peace with Germany, and then USA enters the war. Put historical facts on both of those, and they're quite powerful cards. So literally all your cards, if you're the Allies, -1, or the Germans, -1. It sounds quite brutal, but I've still managed to win battles even with this card against me. So it just gets you to think differently. So we've got the historical facts on there as well. The events you can play in 2 different ways. You can either decide to just have 1 event per year, or if you win a battle, you can then choose to change the event. Obviously that could be quite powerful. So for example, if this event was in place, all German cards -1, if you're a German player, you probably want to get rid of this event ASAP. So then if you win the next battle, you can then replace it. So there's 1 or 2 ways you can play the event cards. And that's it. So I hope you like the new look, new version of Western Front, and I hope you check it out when it's launched on Kickstarter next month. Thank you very much indeed for your time.